Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. We are going to be talking about the 2026 Fire Horse year. We're going to have a sneak peek into what the year of the Fire Horse, what type of energy is bringing. Welcome to Ask Auntie Amy, where we are changing the world one person at a time. Like and subscribe and get notified for our new videos. My name is I go by Ask Auntie Amy, and I am a feng shui coach. I consider myself a digital content creator because I like to create content and share with people on the social media, on different social media platform. I start as a florist. I have my own flower shop in downtown San Francisco for, my God, how many years? 11 years. And then I moved it to a home-based studio. And I've actually published quite a few books, especially the Feng Shui Planner since 2023. I'm a certified Mind Valley life coach, and I've been studying Chinese metaphysics since 2003. And I got my first certification as a Feng Shui practitioner in 2004. Yeah, it's a fall. It was in I think November 2004. Yeah, it was. So, but anyway, that's a quick intro about who I am. For those of you who don't know who I am, and here we go. Let me just dive right into in all Chinese metaphysics. Doesn't matter feng shui, bazi, I Ching, Chinese traditional Chinese medicine. Every Chinese metaphysics, even face reading, it's all about the five element and the relationship of the five element. So in the five element, there's the water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And they all have the yin and yang polarity of each of the element. So a lot of time in the goal of Chinese metaphysics, in feng shui or traditional Chinese medicine, they always like to balance. The goal is to balance everything. So there's no extreme, like for example, if someone have what we call like anger management, right? Anger is governed by liver in traditional Chinese medicine, and liver is a wood element. So if you think about each element have a corresponding organ or body part as well to the element, like the heart will be your fire, your eyes, your fire, right? Your stomach is your earth element, and your water would be your kidney, something like that. So, but okay, I'm not a traditional medicine practitioner, so you should talk to your TMC about that. Okay, so in 2025, let's dive right into it. This is this year's chart. In Chinese feng shui bazi, we have whatever it's like your natal chart, like your birth chart at beginning of each year. Now the year doesn't start with the regular calendar year of January 1st. We start with the solar calendar, like for 2025 it's actually February 3rd at around 11 something at night. And that is the exact time of what the energy of 2025 is. So if this is all color coded, so in the wood element, it will be the green, fire will be red, earth will be brown, metal will be that little light gray or silvery color, and then water element is in the blue. So if you look at this chart, each element governs something. For example, when we see wood, it's about growth. Think of like a tree, like flowers. They're always growing. Wood element is the only element out of the five element that is actually growing. Fire just spread, right? Fire spread, but it doesn't really grow. It spread. And fire needs wood to fuel it, right? And so fire, now, so wood element, it's about growth. Fire is about passion and transformation. And earth is about is about stability. Think of the mountain, right? See, in Chinese metaphysics, it's always very visual. Think of like wood is tree, fire is fire or sun, and earth, think of like a mountain or dirt, right? The yin yang polarity. And then metal, think of metal, it's like an axe or jewelry, right? The yin yang polarity. And then water, it's like ocean or mist or rain, right? There's yin yang polarity. So everything's got yin yang polarity. But today we're going to talk about just the element itself. So what each element represents is wood is about growth, fire is about passion and transformation, earth is about stability, and metal is about justice, righteousness, and the water represents wisdom. So what can we derive from 2025, right? If we look at 2025, there's a lot of growth this year. If you just look at based on even the pie chart with the color, right? There's a lot of growth. And there isn't too many justice. That is the very, very least, justice also means decisiveness as well. The ability to make decision. It's in that little silver, little gray, tiny, tiny little wedgie on it. So that is this year's energy. I mean, if you look around what have happened this year, we have a lot of growth in technology for sure. Fire also represents technology as well. Okay. So you think about like, oh my God, I mean, if you imagine AI, this year's like an explosion of AI technology. And stability is not very stable. I would not say very stable this year because that's the second to the last. It's not that stable. I would not say if you look at the earth, it's like pretty much one right here, and then a little bit right here, and then a little bit right there. The fire's right here, here. And the metal, that's its only one right here. Right here, the yang metal is the only metal right there. So think of what is happening in our environment right now. We have we experience a lot of growth this year, but I would say it's not very stable. I think the political scene is not very stable right now. Then we also look at, besides the element, we also look at every year there's like a I Ching or the I Ching or the I Ching, the hexagram, describe what the year's going to be like. So for 2025, it's hexagram 49. It's reform. It symbolized transformation, shedding the old and embracing necessary change to realign with truth and natural order. Basically, it's a group of people with different opinions, and it can only resolve with a drastic change. It's all about shift and change of power because of conflict. So I think this year, what do we have? Nepal government got overthrown. I mean, I'm not a political analysis, and I don't follow politics that much, just because it's not really my first interest. My first interest is more like relationship. That's more like my specialty. So yeah, if you think about all the bickering that we have between Trump and Elon Musk, and the changes in the government, big company are laying off people, and just most currently, people get fired because of their personal opinion was expressed on a social media platform. So I know somebody say, well, freedom of speech is being under attack. Well, I have a friend who believe in you can only argue when you can argue for both sides of the whatever topic you're arguing, then you can truly arguing. Otherwise, you are just trying to convince people to your side. If you can only argue for one side of the argument. So, but yeah, there you go. I'm not going to talk about politics. Okay, so let's talk about 2026. Fire horse and the crimson goats year. Next year is fire horse. Every time when these two set of year comes around, there's always something happen. So 60 years ago, 1966, around the world, I actually Googled, I chat GPT this, but I did ask them, go, please fact check. You guys can Google and fact check whatever you guys have on your own. So this is what happened around the world 60 years ago in 1966. France withdrew from NATO's military structure. Indonesia, Sukarno, there's a power shift within the government. And there's all these little Ganya, Botswana, I can't say Las Lotov. They all have become independent in 1966. And in China, they launched the Cultural Revolution and the breakdown of party norms. That's what happened 60 years ago in 1966. So let's see what is 2026. This is 2026. 2026 will start on February 4th at 4:03 a.m. If you look at this chart, the strongest element is fire. The second strongest element is wood. Then it goes to metal, and then earth. Do you guys realize there is one thing missing there? Water. There is no water in this chart. What does that mean when you see no water in a chart? It says to me, wisdom, it's lacking. You had to find your own wisdom. This is 2026. This is what 2026 will be. That is the overall theme of 2026. If you look at fire, fire is really strong. I mean, it's strong already, but think of the second element is wood. Wood will give it itself to fire or feed to the fire. So make the fire even more stronger. And of course, the wood needs the axe, the metal to chop it down, right? To make it into firewood. And stability, earth is the smallest element in this chart, besides lacking of water completely. So water also is about flow, right? If you think about things floating easily, it's about flow, and it's not there either. So I'm going to share with you what the I Ching hexagram for 2026. It's hexagram 13. It's fellowship. Fellowship is about gathering of people of similar interests. Think of like fellowship church, right? Think of like fellowship group, people who have similar interests, they'll be starting to gather together. And hopefully, I mean, it really is about human connection and cooperation and shared purpose. And hopefully, they'll be bonding to achieve greater good. So, in my thinking, the way I'm thinking the good thing is people are coming together. The opposite of that means people are even more divided. If you think about it, when people come together, there'll be people who are left behind, who in disagreement, right? Fellowship is about coming together with people who you have shared purpose, share interest, share belief. This is just a snippet of what might be the energy in 2026. Of course, there's how the horse will impact other zodiac animal in your chart as well. So I invite you to come to my 2026 Fire Horse Feng Shui Talk. It'll be held on Saturday, December 6th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And please scan the QR code to register. Space is limited. I like to keep my group smaller so we have more Q&A at the end. Well, thank you for joining me today.